this week?
We're doing so well this week, and then it all fell apart. There we go. Okay, we're back on the teleprompter. Good morning, Manny.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay. I've got my cup of tea as per usual.
Nice. And your Live Laugh Lore mug?
Yep.
Ooh, very exciting. I'm back to the McDonald's brew, the drip brew, McDonald's, McCafe. I love it. Or as we determined earlier in the week, the old Tim Hortons.
The old Tim Hortons, yep.
Little inside baseball for everybody hanging out with us today in chat. I decided 8 minutes to the podcast starting to do an NVIDIA driver update, which completely cooked one of my monitors. I went from operating with 3 monitors and an Elgato teleprompter to operating with 2 monitors and Elgato teleprompter. And you know how when you have multiple monitors, you like set them up so you know which direction you move the mouse through them? They're all different.
Oh no. that like missing third monitor is like the keystone that was holding them all in place.
It turns out, yeah, that was the one. And I'm having a little bit of a crisis over it again. I'll try and figure it out after the show. Hopefully I can. I don't know. Like, none of my notes are where they should be. Everything is. I'm all this. It's like I'm in somebody else's car. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know where the windshield wiper is. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not. It's
which
not
side
fun.
is the gas on again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go into somebody else's kitchen and you're like, okay, we need to make some food. Ooh, I don't know where anything is. That's where I'm at right now. I'm in Manny's kitchen. It's very clean, very tidy kitchen, Manny, but I do not know where anything is.
Thank you. A lot of people are like, wow, you actually keep your kitchen fairly clean, but where the hell is everything? You got your places for everything. So I get it. We'll get your third monitor back. We'll make this a home for you again.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to. I'll have to figure that out. It's yeah, I'm gonna try and get through the next 30 minutes without thinking about it. We'll see how well that goes. I'm already doing the thing with my hands that I do when I'm nervous. So
every time he looks over to that third monitor.
Every time. Well, this is like my Discord monitor, and I keep a lot of my notes in Discord. It's my horizontal or my portrait mode monitor, my vertical monitor. So that one's just gone completely, and it works because when I unplugged the HDMI cable and re-plugged it in, it flashed on for a second, but it's not getting a signal from the PC, it looks like. My suspicion is because the teleprompter is connected when I rebooted the system, that is taking the feed for the third monitor. So I think if I disconnect the teleprompter and then restart, that'll kick back on. We're going to find out. That's a post-show experiment. We'll let everybody know. I'm sure you'll be edge of your seats wondering.
We'll get Angelie in there with the camera so we can see the behind-the-scenes madness.
Yeah, she can live stream my frantic unplugging and replugging of cables.
I've never seen somebody sweat so much pulling one cable.
Oh, you will see some sweats there. Speaking of sweat, excellent segue. You and the raid team pulled Mythic Council of the Dreams last night for the first time. How did that go?
Oh man, so this is again our first like real progression boss. The first 3 bosses are sort of like, kitty gloves. Getting that 4th one in, this is the first time the team's really been tested. And so I'm glad for that. But it also comes in on a week where several of our people are not quite in the right spot. So we have 2 of our healers, our priests, that are out of town, so they couldn't show up. We had one of our tanks get caught up in some weird thing. Like, I don't even know what the story was. One person in the raid was talking about it. It was just like, yeah, they happened to be in raid when supposedly some like GKPD was going down. And it's just like, what? Wait, what? Anyways, it unfortunately ended up with us having to move one of our DPS into the tank slot. So we had somebody who wasn't quite used to tanking, especially he's got a history with it. He did a great job. He's our raid lead, but raid leading from a different position, tanking. And then that also meant that he wasn't able to fill in for healing. So then we had to take another DPS, put them on an alt, and then have them heal. So we put together a team, but I don't think we were really at full steam going into the fight. It was a night of progression. We had some breakthroughs, and like honestly, when you're rating at the mythic level, it's not every night you're gonna kill a new boss. Not every night you're gonna like get more loot. There are gonna be nights that you spend purely on trying to learn to fight, trying to get through. And Council, like initially was just like they would pull and be like, "Oh, by the way, you're done." And it took us a while before we actually got into kind of a conversation about like, okay, that's nice. What move is next? And they're like, yeah, no, don't worry about the next move. You're done. And then we went through. We shifted some strategies around. We put down markers. We talked about stuff, and we got a pull where, one pull we got down to roughly 30%, which is great for a night. Considering we were wiping at 95% previously. And some pulls, I think when things were going roughly according to plan, were like easily like 40 sub 50s for sure. So I was happy with that kind of progress. Another thing about when you don't get those easy kills is that some people that they start to feel the tension, right? And that's when you started actually testing teams. So it was a little bit of oh, how are people doing? But man, it was laughs most of the night, and I'm really glad for that. Just means that the team is chill.
That's good. I like that. Did you have 2 designated duckers?
That was strong armed in. I was the guy being like, hey, you know what I did this last pull? I just stopped DPSing and I just started ducking. And it was, and the raid leader was like, yeah, but I didn't assign that to you, right? Go back to DPSing. Then after a couple of pulls without me doing ducks, they're like, okay, we're gonna revisit that duck thing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with the 2 designated duckers, and that's when we really started pushing in. It's just a matter of us as the 2 designated duck people coordinating without overriding all the other calls that need to be done. So there's now a matter of communication bandwidth that we have to figure out.
You can Discord, if you go to the Discord website, they have 3 different Discords you can install. The Discord that we're on right now that everybody uses, but there's also a Discord TPB, which is their beta server. You can install and run both that and the regular Discord separately. This is what our tanks do for communications. So we're in the raid channel listening to the raid calls, but we're also in a separate Discord channel on the Discord TPB, so that we can communicate to each other without anybody else on the raid team hearing us. I can help you get that set up if you want.
That may, in fact, be the solution. And I'm going to talk with the other duck person on my team. She was doing quite a good job. And that might actually be the silver bullet here.
Yeah, you just you have a free channel to whoever you want. You just either jump in a different channel on your guild's raid server, or you have your own server or whatever, and then you just both sit in there and you run 2 instances of the Discord. You run regular Discord, which is what the raid team will be in, and you'll be in there. You'll be able to hear those comms and communicate there as well if you need to. The only thing you have to remember is if you use a push to mute button or toggle to mute button, set different ones for each Discord so you're not talking in the regular Discord. I usually just leave the regular Discord muted with the raid team, and I leave my on the tank channel, I just leave it as voice activated.
Okay.
Yeah. It's huge quality of life for anybody who has to have those constant comms, especially on that fight with the ducks. Big recommend. We hit we're doing some Firak prog last night. I think we got to about 30%, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So CE is in range. It should be soon-ish. Sunday's our next raid day, so fingers crossed. Everybody shows up prepared. Could be a I won't say. I'm not gonna say it could be a kill, but it's a good day. We had a lot of really good prog teams playing exceptionally well, and that is almost entirely attributed to our raid leader Brock, who is absolutely fantastic with preparation. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, Live Junior in chat says, "Put me in, coach. Maybe Live Junior is the silver bullet that I need."
Maybe Junior is quite good. He was a priest and a holy paladin on a couple of teams that I was on both last expansion and this expansion. Or was he with us in Sepulchre? No, he was just Vault and Avarice. Junior's a good healer. If you need a healer, reach out to him. He is quite good at the game.
There you go. There you go. There's a shining recommendation. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what Firak, once we get and that is accurate, like P3, once you get there, it's like usually it's the easiest of the phases to learn. So there's a good chance that it drops off pretty quick. Couple of nights. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Manny, I'm still shook up about this monitor disappearing on me, but we're gonna try and muscle through for the people that are just showing up in chat. Big Brain Sean play was to install NVIDIA drivers 8 minutes before the show, and all my monitors have reset their positioning, and one of them just turned off. So we're struggling through. It's one of those types of shows. Yeah, Manny, this is your last day here. You've been here all week. How have you been? I wanted to take a look back and reflect on the week that we've had together. And,
man.
Yeah.
I love this. This has been a kind of morning ritual for me, which has been great to like dive into a little bit of WoW in the morning, and then it makes me so excited to play afterwards. So like I think we did like 2 shows, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna play afterwards, and then there was like server maintenance, so I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then so it wasn't until yesterday that I finally played a bit afterwards. I'm gonna do that today. But yeah, make Sean in the morning part of your morning ritual. It's a great way to start the day. That's what I've decided.
I appreciate that. You'll be back for sure. You'll definitely be back. Sean and Manny in the morning is definitely going to happen again. I want to point out that every topic we have covered this week, Blizzard has made active changes on. So they're obviously watching the show. We talked about the Legendary and how whether or not people should be able to get it and how easy it should be able to get. They buffed it. We talked about how they would never reveal the numbers for the drop rates for the Legendaries. They revealed them. We talked.
No, they didn't. That was data mining. That was not them.
Well,
that was Wowhead doing some forensic data mining.
Well, they let them data mine it. I'm giving it to Blizzard. I'm giving the win to Blizzard. We talked about their response time to community issues, and they changed the Oracle hero talent trees. Blizzard is watching. Blizzard is listening, and I believe that we have a direct line of communication between us to Blizzard through this show. So I want to talk about new player tips and tricks right now to nail some of those down so that Blizzard can make some kind of adjustment to that next. Do you have any tips or tricks for new players, Manny?
Oh, man. Okay, so first tip and trick for new players, find your family, find your friends. Like, this game is 1,000,000% better when you play it with friends. I know people will talk about, like, quote-unquote toxic pug culture. I know people will talk about, like, the struggles of LFR or the random ganks if you're in war mode. Also, war mode's so much fun. But if you find people to play with, they don't have to be, like, your boy toy in the next room. It can just be somebody that you meet in the game. You're like, oh, yeah, let's do this dungeon together. And then you decide, hey, rather than us go our separate ways, let's continue adventuring together. Let's do this zone together. It just makes the game so much more fun. So tip number 1, underlined, find your friends, find your family.
I like that. I have a tip that may be a little bit controversial. A lot of the new guides, maybe not a lot, but more than there should be of the new guides, recommend that new players go and get heirloom pieces as one of the first things they should be doing. And that sort of indicates that buying WoW tokens is the way to level. Because I'm pretty sure a set of heirloom armor costs around 200k gold, maybe more. And it doesn't give the experience boost that it used to give. So my tip is don't listen to everything the guides say and the new player helpers say as gospel, especially when it involves purchasing large amounts or items that cost large amounts of gold.
I would say don't even look at the guides until you reach the end
Oh,
game.
when I say guides, I mean like the in-game, the mentors, the ones that like sign up
Oh,
for, you know how you have like the new player chat and
yeah.
yeah, so apparently some of the people in there, and I heard this from a guide that is quite good. But some of the mentors are saying, hey, go get heirloom gear for your character to level up, which is not. Don't do that. Don't spend that gold.
No, that advice rubs me the wrong way. It's just like, no, like they shouldn't even know what heirloom gear is. Heirloom gear is for your like second, third, eighth character that you're bringing up, and you don't want to go through the hassle, and you're going so fast that the rewards don't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, no, go.
Yeah.
Do the rewards. Be happy that you get like your little bit, your new piece of armor. You're like, oh, cool. Oh, this doesn't match. Like, I look like a clown. When does this game make me look nice? That's part of the new player experience.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have another tip?
Tip number 2 would be play at your own pace. Kind of. This is in contrast to the last one. Like, find your friend, find your family. If somebody that is your friend or family is at a different place in the game, or is that person that you started playing with starts out leveling you, don't bend yourself backwards to like play catch up. Enjoy the game as you're going. Find like cool little side quests and be like, oh, I want to go do that side quest. Yes, it might not be the most efficient way of going about it, but it's going to be what's fun for you. You're going to find something you'll be like, that was crazy, that was stupid, that was fun. I'm never going to talk to this foul character again. He can't be important. And then just enjoy that game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like that.
That's along that line.
Yeah, I like that. Go at your own pace. In that token, my second tip would be to read your abilities. Now, whether you are just picking your tree on your own, or you're copying a build from Wowhead, and this actually goes for not just new players, but experienced players who are trying a new class, but go through and read those abilities. So you want to see how they synergize together, and maybe try to understand why are you picking the ones that you're picking. But it's so important. There's no like shortcuts. You need to be able to understand what it is your class does and why it does the things that it does. Otherwise, you're going to have things popping up on your screen, icons and images. You're not going to know why. So read those abilities. And on the note of the talent tree, this is actually something I only learned like 2 weeks ago from Neek, who is one of them. He's an early player mentor. When you're looking at the talent tree, if an ability is a circle, then it's a passive bonus to your character. And if it's a square icon, then it's an ability that you put on your bars and use. I had no idea. I was blown away. Yeah.
Yep. For talent selection, starter builds are nice, right? I'm gonna put this in conjunction with your ability, because like the starter build will pick those talents for you, but you still need to read them. Still read them so that you can learn about them, and maybe you want to differentiate between the two. Also, if you are wondering about something, there's a search function in the talents, guys. You could be like, oh, Frost Shock. And it won't just highlight Frost Shock, it'll highlight stuff that interacts with Frost Shock. You can be like, oh, if I want to make my Frost Shock more powerful, let me type in Frost Shock, and oh, I can choose this ability here, and I can choose this ability here, and all of these go with Frost Shock. So make sure you are reading the abilities and using the search function as well to understand what your tree does.
I like that. My last tip is going to be the first thing you should do in game is hit enter, type / the word leave, space, trade. And then enter / the word leave, space, services. And then enter / the word leave, local defense. Manny, nobody uses these. No new player needs to be in these channels. When is the last time you typed anything in local defense? I don't even know why it still exists.
My issue is rejoining those channels is going to be more complicated for a new player than they think. And as a new player, you shouldn't really be spending the majority of your time in towns. You should be out there questing. So the impact of it might be just like a, hey, like this is annoying and spammy while I'm in the city, but like ignore your ignore that for a little bit. Go pick up your quests and get the new quests. Turn in whatever you need to do, and then go out into the world. And you automatically leave them when you're not in a major city. So and you automatically rejoin them when you're in there.
I don't know, man. It's just so jarring. You walk into Stormwind. If you're on Area 52, you walk into Stormwind, then it's just like your chat just goes blah 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 blah. It's nuts. Martin Hoffman pointed out that you don't have to type /leave. You can actually just right-click the chat tab, go to settings, and uncheck them, and then you can rejoin them again if you want. That's probably the better way to do it.
That would be the better way.
I'm like 100 years old, so I like to do the /leave.
Using all those console commands, baby. I would say that if you're dealing with like a lot of spam in chat, like being able to mute them. I have changed the colors of them, so like trade chat is like this like barely legible gray, and so it like only the hyperlinks of like this is an item will show up, and that means that I'll like when I'm just parsing through it, I get a quick little like, oh, they're looking for this like this jewel crafting item, or oh, this is about like fire act, and it's like okay, but like I have hit my ignore cap trying to filter out trade and looking for services, and I just had to like go back and be like, I guess this is not the way to go. I can't just ignore all of them because they'll run in with another level 10 death knight and be like, hey, join my crew.
I love it. I love it. Neek has given us the biggest, and you know what? After reading it, I realized immediately this is the biggest and best new player tip you could ever get, is to go into your settings and immediately turn on auto loot. How is this not the default in 2024? Who is out here single looting items off of bodies, sir?
I mean, okay. As a new player, when you don't auto loot, it means that you consider the items more. As a veteran player, we immediately know to parse that, oh, this is vendor trash, this is like uncommon. I don't care unless it's like blue or not. So there is a bit of a learning experience that I understand the reasoning why it's not auto loot. Auto loot is definitely an amazing quality of life. AoE looting, I'm glad that is just like the default. Remember back in the day when we had to loot each one at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I understand it. As a new player, if you didn't have somebody holding your hand and be like, okay, we're gonna switch on auto loot, and now that you're vendoring stuff, don't worry, all of those are gray. None of those are worth anything. Those are white, pretty much worthless. Like, that is something that if you have somebody with you, switch on auto loot and they will fill in the gaps for you.
I don't know if I like how easily you sway me, Manny. You're always so rational. When I think that there's no possible reason for something happening, you're like, well, Sean, consider it from this point of view. And it usually makes me actually consider... I can't move my mouse anywhere because these monitors are on the wrong spots. It actually makes me consider. All right, fair enough, sir. Fair enough. I'll take it. Yeah, they have to consider the loot. We know by looking at it, we can parse it easier. Okay, all right, fair enough. Manny, those are some great tips and tricks for new players. A lot of them we'll be giving to Anjali as she is a new player. My partner has recently jumped into the World of Warcraft. We're in the BFA storyline, which, as you said, is exactly as you told me it would be. It is a good and pleasant experience so far. They definitely laid that out well. So once again, Manny,
which zone did you start with?
Well, we started. You have to start with Tier Guard Sound if you're Alliance. You don't have a choice. So it actually walks you through. No, it walks you right through the leveling experience in each of the zones as it comes up. We're trying to decide. Do we do just the campaign quests so we get more of the story before she hits 60? Or do we do all of the quests and just say F it and go to Dragonflight? And I think we've settled somewhere on we'll do the quests that seem like fun for her, including the campaign quests. Because ultimately the goal is for her to become as terribly addicted to the game as I am.
My plot would be look for all those little like reference stuff and then like guide her around there. It's like, oh look, it's like the Winnie the Pooh reference in Storm Song,
Oh,
right? And
nice.
that sort of stuff. I would be, because it's not questing per se, but it's these little Easter eggs that they put into the different zones
Yeah.
that are just like highlights. And I would suggest like letting her see those highlights, because the honest truth is that regardless of whether you do strictly campaign or do some side quests, most of the connecting story is actually in the end game stuff. The leveling campaign is fairly isolated to like, we're just introducing you to like the factions of this zone or
Right.
the factions of like the continent. And you don't even do like technically war campaign you could do while leveling, but it's not part of the leveling experience. And the war campaign, I would think, is like the majority of like, hey, this is how these factions operate against each other. This is World of Warcraft. The rest of it's just setting the stage of where they're fighting.
Right. Okay. I will. We'll go hunt down some of those Easter eggs, I think, then. Yeah. Manny, we're coming up close to the end of the show. Before we wrap it up, I want to know, what are your plans this weekend, sir?
I'm heading out of town. This is gonna be kind of great. My good old friend, I shouldn't say old, but my great friend, Joss, mentor as she is. We're hanging out with her. It's my first time to see her little girl, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm gonna do that, and then when I get back, we're gonna do stream. I'm gonna catch up on all of the stupid anime that I've been putting off watching.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a good weekend of relaxation and zero work.
Have you, speaking of anime, this is probably going to make some people angry, and if it does, I don't care. Have you seen any of the new Avatar: Last Airbender on Netflix, the live action?
I try not to touch any live action Avatar. It like
Oh,
I
I've
like
enjoyed it so far.
I don't want to consider myself like a purist. Like I like Last Airbender. I
Mhm.
like Korra. I think they're great. I don't think the studios put out anything that I've cared to watch since then.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. I've enjoyed the 2 episodes I've seen so far. So has Anjali. If you ever decide to dip your toe into the live action, maybe start there.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
I'll wait for it all to come out and then I'll try and watch it together, because like they've made some choices that just seem odd to me. And
Yeah.
I know the fan base is up in arms, but like every fan base always gets up in arms. So
Yeah.
I'll form my own decision, but I'll wait for it all to come out.
Yeah, as a dyed in the wool Star Wars fan, born and bred, drip fed A New Hope from the day I was born, I learned somewhere around Phantom Menace that other fans are usually not people I want to talk to.
I will tell you now, my hot take on Star Wars is that the most Star Wars that Star Wars has ever been was actually Episode 3.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I like them all. I find them entertaining. I enjoy them. I enjoy the characters. I don't take myself or them too seriously, and my entire ethos isn't tied around whether or not I can recite the entire Jedi Order from heart. So maybe that's why I don't get as angry as some of the people online. Yeah, this weekend for me, tomorrow we're going to be wrapping up, hopefully, Project 424. Which is a project where me and 4 of my friends got together with boosted characters and equipped no upgrades and got no tier pieces and just went to see if we could get KSM on those characters. We are 3 dungeons away. Those are Darkheart Thicket, Waycrest Manor, and I think Galakrond's Fall. We need to do 1 at a 15 and the other 2 at 14s, and we will have hit KSM on characters that are all item level 424. 2 of them just in the freshly boosted 424 gear. The other 3 had characters that they went and farmed out 400 item level 424 gear. So that should wrap up Saturday. Pretty excited to get that project done and dusted. And then that's basically it for me. We were potentially adding a D&D day on Sunday, but we can't. So just some 424 stuff. And then next week here on Recruited Cup, it'll be me again, as always. And unfortunately, Manny will be not with us, but instead, in his place, we'll have another M for 4 of the days anyway. And that is Marty from the Talking WoW podcast.
Hey, upgrade. Nice.
Well, side grade. It's a side grade. It's
It's Marty. I'm gonna go upgrade on this. Marty's nothing but class. I like this.
yeah.
Good
It's
choice, good choice.
it should be fun. And then there's one day he can't make, so we're gonna fill that in with somebody else who you may be familiar with if you are familiar with the Talking Wow podcast, but that will remain to be seen. It's Tom. It's his co-host, Tom.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the show. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Manny, thank you for spending your week with me. I really appreciate it.
It's been, like I said, an absolute blast. It's going to be a ritual. I'll be lurking in the chat from now on.
Nice. We love lurks. We take lurks. If you're watching the show, please check out Manny. Follow him on Twitch at True Villain Manny. Also on Twitter at True Villain Manny. No E, so TRU Villain Manny. Although he is really a true hero to most of us. You will not be disappointed. And for everybody else, I will see you Monday. Oh,
Bye, guys.
I can't stop the stream because my things are in the wrong spot. All right, here we go.